So, hello everybody, this is Raphael Walter, and we are back in the second step, the second part of creating an HR application in SAP Cloud Platform. So, in the first step, we loaded the images into the SAP HANA database tenant that was in SAP Cloud Platform. And now this time, so you can go to the link here, and this time we're going to go and we're actually going to create the XSJS service to view these employee pictures in a file. And why are we doing XSJS? It's because it gives us more flexibility than the OData services. And for that, we'll create on the backend on the HANA server platform XSJS script that's going to allow us to expose the script as an API. And then we'll create an HTML JavaScript web page on the SAP Cloud Platform. So first, we need to launch the web-based development workbench. So this is the HANA database. And here you see that when you connect, so this is in Neo, and I have my SAP HANA cockpit and the SAP HANA web-based development workbench. So this is what we're going to launch. And once we do that, here we're going to go into the editor and and we're going to go into the editor. In this editor, so here you have our project, our content, our package, which contains XSA access and a .xsa access and a .xs app. And in the XS app, there is absolutely nothing. In the XS access, this is what we've put. So I'm not going to be using the cores, which is the cross-origin resource sharing, and the authentication is going to be basic, etc. And then we need to put in the XSJS code. So as you can see here, if we go down to the bottom, so I won't go into the full details of what we're doing here, but basically we consider the method, which is going to be get or post. Then I have my different commands that I'm going to be using, getting just the employee image, the name, the amp data. As you know, in the last step, we'll be connecting this to Google Dialogflow to create a chatbot. So this is the same applications, the same commands, but using for creating a JSON that will be interpreted by the Dialogflow of Google. And then we're gonna go and define the different functions. So here, for example, this is typically the JSON that needs to be given by back to Google, and I'm building the response here and sending it here. So this is my DC2. This is my file XSJS file, and once we've done this, we're simply going to test it. So to test it, you can of course test it directly here by hitting the run, and you're gonna go into, no, sorry. So I'm gonna run this, and here we have the URL for our command, but of course there is nothing there. So if we want, we need to launch it with the correct command, and so we need the get employee data. This is what I want to get, and the employee ID. And basically we're going to run this, and this will be the response coming from our API that we've just coded. So once again, I'm not going to the depth of what we're doing here in this code, but you basically get the idea. And once this is finished, you can simply deploy this and deliver this to your SAP Cloud Platform. So basically, we're going to keep track of, we're going to save this URL here, and I'm going to copy this, copy. So once, of course, I'm testing it here, I could go into Postman and I've done a get response, and also, so here we're getting the information. We've also done the post. So this one is the post for Google. The Google answer, and we see the answer coming back from Google for Google. So once you've done this, what needs to be done afterwards is we need to create a destination, because you remember in the access we defined that we didn't want to have any cores. So we need to create destinations on the connectivity tab. So if we go into the SAP Cloud Platform cockpit, so we will be creating a destination. So we go into connectivity here, and then destinations. And you see here I have different destinations, and the one that I want to be changing, I'm going to be creating or adding a new destination, and I'm going to give it a name, the type. Here it can be any kind of type, and then the URL. So basically, this is where I paste the URL that was used here for the API. Okay, so this will be my destination. Of course, I don't need to fill in after the XSJS file, and we'll be filling the command and the parameters. We'll be giving them at runtime, but this will be our destination. The proxy type, which is going to be internet, the authentication, the user, and password. So once you've done defining this destination, we can now directly access this from our code. We're going to be doing this inside of a new app. So once you've done with this, you go into your application. We're going to create an HTML5 application. Okay, and here you're going to create a new application. Okay, so when you click a new application, then you will be into the web ID. And actually, I prefer to use the SAP full stack web ID. So you can also launch this from the services. Okay, from the services here, and you can look for the full stack web ID, and you can launch it from here. So once you've launched the full stack web ID, this is where I'm going to create my new project. And so basically you will need two files, roughly. You're going to have the neo-app.json file. And if you're wondering how to create this, you can go into the help. You need the application descriptor file, and they explain to you, so the authentication or welcome file, which is basically going to be my index.html file here that I'm going to be using, and that's going to be the second file that I'll have to create, and then the path with the destination that we've just created. So if you go here, you go into the path, you see the destination, and then the showing employee that I've defined inside of my destinations here. If we go back into the destinations here. Okay, and then all this information, and once again you can go into the help of SAP, and you will have all the different information that you can use for the application descriptor file. And then you basically just need to go into your index file, and using JavaScript you're going to create, so here this is my page basically, so you can run this, and this is going to be a completely blank page. Okay, of course I have nothing, I didn't send any parameters to this page. But if we go to the bottom here, and we go into the load data, basically this is where I'm going to be parsing the JSON file and then creating the response and the inner HTML coming from the API, and the call will be made to my XSJS function that I've created. So if we go back here, then we will see there should be a load data somewhere. Sorry, here. So you see here, we have the script, and then we're going to be using, so we have defined two destinations, one for the name, getting the information, because basically that's what I want. I'm using the employee ID to retrieve the name, and then the name data to get the information. And then I'm using the load data function that I've defined here, and which is right here, and this is where I'm calling my HTTP request with the method that I want, the post method or the get method, and then I send this and I retrieve the information and I put it into my web page, and the end result is simply going to be here. So if you run this for employee 111, for example, then we have this information, or employee 114. So basically the HTML page has embedded in it a JavaScript script running, and this JavaScript is going to hit my API that we've just created with the XSJS. Okay, and so we're building the response using the destination that was defined here in the SAP Cloud Platform cockpit. So you can probably look for code examples, maybe easier codes if you want to get back to this. But the idea is we're actually using the XSJS to retrieve the information that we've loaded into SAP HANA, and then we're simply showing it here. So the first step is almost finished. We've done this app very quickly. Very quickly. You didn't see the actual code doing, but if you're fluent in JavaScript, you see that the different steps are pretty easy. You create the API with an XSJS service, and then you create the destinations, and then you simply create an HTML page to retrieve this destination, to retrieve this, to hit this API. Okay, so in the next video, what I'll be doing is I'll be showing you how this all integrates with Google Dialogflow, and we'll be going a little bit out of the SAP world to take care of all this, and I'll be showing you how we can use this API to retrieve all this information. Thank you very much. Have a great day.